Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of CA Overwatch. We have a very special episode for you guys today. We're actually going to do something a little bit different, as in it's not going to be about the Toronto Defiant. We're going to give you a breakdown and sort of a top 5 about the World Cup, and then break down Canada's roster and sort of give our opinions on what their ceiling and what their floor is. So, as always, I'm your host, co-host Spencer Chason, and with me, as always, is
Chris Calls.
Hello, Chris. How's it going?
Good. It seems like we have special episodes every single episode.
No. Well, yeah, because it's the off season, so actually most of our episodes are not typical, right? But during the year, they're not special. It's just like, hey, Toronto Defiant went 0-8 this past week. What are your thoughts? But not anymore, baby, not anymore, because that actually segues into the first sort of topic I wanted to bring up. Now, we mentioned it a little bit on our previous episode last week, but in case you guys have been living under a rock, Toronto Defiant has announced that it is official. Agilities and Kariv are a part of the Toronto Defiant. So, Chris, really quickly before we get into the World Cup stuff, just give me your thoughts on this transaction that's taken place.
I'm very excited. Agilities, I think he's a great player whose potential didn't get fully realized on the Valiant. Mm-hmm. Because I was doing some key readings, and I think one of the key readings. One of the big things that I noticed is that he was having a lot of team cohesion issues.
Yeah.
So, working together with other parts of the team. And I think that, coming with a fresh team, hopefully a lot of new Canadian faces on Toronto Defiant, which is very exciting.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Surefire, we want you.
Knocking wood.
To the fold.
Knocking wood.
Knock on wood, come to the fold. I think he's gonna, kind of increase those synergies and kind of get back on that horse.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, for the most part, I completely agree. When I initially heard the saying, I thought, I was like, agilities, we absolutely needed Kariv, right? Like a fantastic flex support, brings with him a ton of fans. And I was like, agilities, he's really good, but so is Mangachu. Would the pros be worth the initial monetary incentive that would go along with it? I assumed we actually paid a lot for him, although it recently came out that agilities was one of the reasons why we got Kariv, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, for as cheap as we did. So I don't know if you heard about this, but people were offering 250.
No, tell me more.
So according to the Game House article, the Game House, yeah, exactly. According to them, teams are bidding $250,000 to $350,000 for just Kariv alone, but they weren't going to take on Agility's contract as well. They just wanted Kariv. But then Jay comes in out of nowhere and absolutely swindles the Valiant, and he basically says, "I'll take both of them for $140,000, so you can get both contracts off of your book, but I'm only going to give you $140,000 for both." Not each. Apparently, it's both. So they got both for $140,000, where people were offering $350,000 for Kariv alone. So, and obviously we're a Toronto Defiant, we're a Toronto franchise, so I think Agilities fits us perfectly. And initially I was like, is it worth it via Mangachu? But I mean, Agilities is only 19, Mangachu is 23. So I think by adding this, you set yourself up for the long term. Obviously the next year you can run Agilities and Mangachu, and we're gonna get a better sort of idea as to where do you run Agilities and where do you run Mangachu in this World Cup, right? Okay. Because they both play for Canada. So,
I mean, Jay, you know what? A couple of questionable decisions over the course of the. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, some questions.
But Jay, how did he pull that off?
Yeah,
how did he pull off paying less for two people than people pay more for one person?
Especially since we need Agilities. He's the Canadian fans love him, and I think it's he brings a lot of fans to them. You keep the Kariv Agilities duo together, which a lot of people are a fan of. So overall, fantastic work by Jay. We're going to see where do you use Mangachu and where do you use Agilities in this upcoming World Cup. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So there's our quick thoughts. With that being said,
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Fantastic move, and I'm excited for Toronto Defiant to announce more roster changes in the upcoming weeks. So with that,
let's move right on to it.
Let's get right into it. So let's go with our top 5.
Top 5 Overwatch teams.
Number 5.
Okay. Number 5. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is actually, so I'm going to bring this up right now just so you guys get, these are the national rankings according to Wikipedia. This must be the rankings going into the Overwatch World Cup. I forget exactly how these were done, but this is what they are. So these are not our rankings. This is simply what Wikipedia is telling me the rankings are. So my number 5 isn't even on this list. I'm going off the board right off the bat with Team UK. So the reason I have Team UK, I think Team UK's got a really good roster here. One of the reasons why I don't have them higher is because I don't think, obviously one of their best players and one of the most recognizable players is Fusion, and assuming that the double shield meta takes place, I don't think he's going to have as big of an impact on Orisa as, like, let's say if it was GOATs like it was last year.
This is exactly what I was going to say too.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think he's top 5. Like,
no,
really?
No, that's fair, and you can give me your reasons why in a bit, but I'm going to put them top 5 just because, one, I really like their support line of Boombox and then Cruz / Funny Astro. I think it's going to be Funny Astro because I believe you do run the Lucio. I think Cruz would play the Mercy, and I think Funny Astro is going to be their Lucio player. So I think because the meta is going to be Lucio Moira, I really like Funny Astro Boombox. I think Fusions is still a fantastic shot caller, even though Orisa is a little bit limited in what she can do in this current meta. Their biggest issue, and one of the reasons why I might not have them higher, is because Smex, while good, I don't know if he's going to be able to carry as hard as Sigma as like some of the other teams' potential off tanks. But I also like
he's a decent tier 2, but he's no like Crimzo or something like that.
Well, Smex is a flex off tank. Crimzo's flex support.
I know it's a little different. I know, but he's not like
really highly touted. Yeah.
There's
There's like other contenders players that are like more highly touted than Smex, but still, he still played pretty well. Played for, I believe that's Atlanta Academy. I don't follow their contenders team. I'm sorry, contenders scene. And they have a good. Oh, Smex plays in Montreal Rebellion. I'm so stupid. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna edit that out. Forget that I said that.
No, we're not. You're a dummy.
Yeah. Good point. But you're right. I don't think people are chomping at the bits to get him, but still. I really like Fusions. Their DPS lineup of KSP, Kib are good. So I think that they're a nice number 5 just because they got some recognizable talent. I think Fusions is going to be able to shot call his way to 5th place.
I think I'm going to go a little off the track and say Finland. Finland number 5.
Okay, I like
Finland's
that. Finland's
going to come with like a tasty
bring the
little.
Roster up. Hold on, let me just bring the roster up on my screen so people can see. Yeah, there you go. You
like mostly I'm looking at like RCK, decent little dad, and Shaz and Masa.
Yeah, Shaz and Masa is really good. Now,
like a good support line. They're not like.
No, they're really good. That's a really good support line. That's a really good support line. Not gonna lie, that's better. Like that's better than our support line, to be completely honest.
But here's the real question: is like a DPS or tank line more important than support line?
Exactly. No, that is the question. That's why I didn't have them in my top 5. And it's unfortunate that Davin can't play. But RCK, I agree. RCK is good. Cloudy. You know. My biggest issues with them was their off tank and sort of their flex DPS positions, which are in this meta are probably the biggest carry potentials. But it's a good solid team.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Number 4. Hit me.
Number 4. Okay, this is where things get a little spicy. I'm actually going to go a little bit off the board here, and I'm going to go Team China.
You know what? I agree.
That's number 4. You agree?
Some people may put Canada there.
Yep.
But I'm not going to put Canada because I'm biased.
Okay, I debated this a lot, and I completely agree. Obviously, the bias in me, I'm like, oh, Canada's number 1. We're going to win the gold medal. Easy. But I'm honestly trying to be as objective as possible. The reason I have China in this number 4 position is because their star players. One, Leave can't play, which is super unfortunate. I think it's personal issues. I forget why.
Yeah,
it says right here. We're not pissed due to health issues. Super unfortunate. So obviously that does impact my decision though, but also there's their main carry players. Gushue, we just talked about it for UK. Man, if he's stuck on Orisa in a double shield meta, he's limited in the amount of carry potential he has. And Gushue was a major reason why they were as successful as they were last year. I don't think Elsa is a top tier Sigma. I wasn't blown away with Elsa during the regular season. If their carry potentials are Sigma and Doomfist, now their Doomfist is going to be unreal. Jinmu and Eileen are really, really good projectile DPS players. But I'm not in love with their support line. It's good. I don't think it's top tier. Like, I think Finland has a better support line, for instance. And I don't like their off tank. So I actually think that this meta really doesn't suit China. The interesting thing about China would be if they just say fuck the meta, like fuck running Doomfist and Reaper, and they go and like they run Jinmu on Doomfist and then Elsa or Eileen on like Pharah, and they just run like a Pharah Doomfist sort of meta and try to counter it. The issue is the top tier teams, I think, have too good of McCree players. And I think we'd be able to counter that. Like if you look at Canada with Sherfor and US with Corey and then South Korea with, I believe it's Carpe.
And I don't think Gushue has much Sigma experience. So
well, no, Gushue would play the Orisa. Yeah.
I know that he doesn't have much. He doesn't have much Sigma experience. Yeah, like at least a DPS role.
You're saying you could run Elsa on. Interesting. I didn't even think about that. You're saying run Gushue on Sigma and then Elsa on Orisa. I don't think they do that. But it's
that's what I'm saying. Gushue doesn't have Sigma experience, so they probably won't end up doing it.
Yeah. That's actually not bad, because in theory, you could have actually brought Eamon on there and put Eamon on the Orisa and then had Gushue on the Sigma. But the issue is, like, I could see this team just saying fuck it and going, like, dive. Running, like, a Pharah, Doomfist, Monkey, Diva dive and trying to catch teams off guard. And I think they're going to be a really fun team to watch. If I'm trying to be as objective as possible, I think there's just safer picks that are going to be better coordinated.
Yeah, I mean, and also, that being said, like, when it comes to Overwatch World Cup, people, like, do respect the meta, but they don't respect the meta as much in, like, actual pro play.
No, for sure.
People like, if you're, like, have a team that just is better at dive, they're just going to go dive.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You don't have a lot of time to work on that team coordination to build up a, like, a double barrier team if you don't already have a double barrier team.
Yeah, but that's one of the reasons why I think that this team is going to be potentially better than where I currently have them at number 4 is because a lot of these players are from the Hunters. So they already have that sort of team chemistry built in from the Overwatch League.
Spicy spark, like
yeah,
ooh.
Exactly. They have a ton of, well, no, Hunters. Spark is Gushue, and then Eileen's obviously the charge, but the Hunters, like almost the whole team's from Chengdu Hunters. So it's going to be interesting to see that team chemistry sort of carries over. Obviously, they never played Arista Sigma in the. Oh, they did play Arista Sigma. I lied. They had one game, I think. So yeah, this team could surprise a lot of people because they have that sort of built-in team chemistry. I just think that their carry heroes aren't going to be good enough. And I think that they're going to try to run some wacky strategies, and I'm hoping that the top-tier teams, as in our top 3, are going to be able to counter them. That's my thoughts. So
okay. Let's move on to top 3 then.
3. No, I'm kidding.
Same time, ready?
1, 2, 3.
3, 2, 1.
Canada. Yeah, unfortunately, I wish I could put them higher. I mean, number 3 is, nothing to be ashamed about.
It's respectable.
It's very respectable. The reason I can't.
Think of, like, the U.S. and Canada and other sports, U.S. pretty much claps us in every other sport.
Yeah.
So, you know what?
Hey, we've beat them the last 2 years, so, I mean, there's always that. This year I think is going to be different. Whoa, hold up. I have an ad playing on... an ad just randomly started blasting music on Wikipedia. Sorry about that. Everyone, I apologize. So yeah, it was only like 20 seconds. So yeah, sorry. The reason I can't put Canada higher, mainly it's because I think our top 2 teams in US and South Korea are just too good. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about Canada. I think one of the reasons why you might put China ahead of Canada is if you're really worried about, like, XQC, for instance, because he's been out of the league so long. Now, I know people said that last year too, but in reality, he played a lot of Overwatch League Season 1, and he still grinded the game on stream, and then he came into the World Cup relatively practiced and got to play Monkey, which is his signature hero. So I am a little bit worried about XQC, but he's probably our most volatile position, and he's playing, like I said, Orisa. So it's pretty hard to, like, really throw on Orisa. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and I'm just gonna add, I really don't think, like, if you're a good person like XQC, I don't think being in the Overwatch League matters a lot, because once again, like, the difference between, like, good, like, Overwatch League and maybe, like, ladder play and stuff like that is the fact that, like, you have, like, massive team coordination. Mm-hmm. And with these teams who, like we really don't have a lot of time to spend, like, developing your team plays and team coordination.
Exactly.
When you have that, it, like, makes it so that, like, these classic ladder players that aren't an owl, they, like, don't look as crappy as they would if they just jumped into owl play.
Yeah.
because the team just aren't as well versed as an Owl.
Yeah, and the good thing is that we're bringing back the exact same team as last year, and so we're going to have the team chemistry. But we're going to actually move on quickly from Canada because Chris and I are going to go into Canada a little bit more at the end, just because this is a Canadian-focused podcast, so we're going to break these guys down.
You didn't notice in the name of the podcast?
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to save some time at the end to really get into Team Canada's roster. We're just going to quickly move on to number 2. So my number 2, I'm going to give my number 2. Drum roll, please.
I'll go. No.
I'm going to give my number 2. Drum roll, please. So stupid. South Korea. There, I said it. I said it. I'm going off the board. I'm on the train.
You're
on the fucking
going to hell.
U.S. train.
Hell, buddy.
America. Yeah.
America.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to swear, Chris?
I plead it out for all the 5-year-olds.
For the 5-year-olds listening to our podcast. So yeah.
Which is nobody.
So, I mean, we can really just talk about our top 2 together, really, because I assume your number 2 is the United States.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. So, obviously, I'm not going to disagree with anybody who puts South Korea as number 1. I absolutely get it. And a lot of people have been putting South Korea number 1, which I absolutely understand. I just think the U.S. roster is so fucking good. I think the U.S. roster is so good. I can't really knock any part of South Korea because it's honestly just as good. Other than the fact that they have a little bit less team cohesion, I think, than the United States. I just think the people are looking at the biggest knock against the U.S. and being like, well, they haven't done it in 2017. They didn't do it in 2018, and therefore they're not going to do it in 2019, which I think is like just ridiculous. For like, one, it's different. It's a different roster. It's a different meta with a different hero pool. Like, just because I flip heads 5 times in a row doesn't mean I'm more likely to flip heads over tails on the 6th flip, right? Like, it's an independent event. You can't take the past 2 years into consideration because, like I said, different meta, different roster. The United States are fresh off of like their core super Moss. Sinatra just won the Overwatch League. Sinatra was the MVP. I think Corey during Stage 4 was probably the best DPS player in the entire Overwatch League, and if not, he's one of the best. And they have KSF in case they just need it. If you look at their like Sigma, Doomfist carry potential, Sinatra, like I said, MVP, one of the best Doomfists in the league. You saw him pop off against the Titans in the Overwatch League finals. Space is an absolute assassin on Diva, and I assume his Sigma play is going to be able to transition to his Diva play for a couple of reasons. One, I think he's just very talented. That's how that works. And then 2, recently on Platchat, they were talking about how he duo queued a lot with Super on ranked and actually ended up number 1 in the world, or North America servers. Like, he was rank 1. Now, I know it's just ranked, but it just shows that he can play Sigma. I'm not going to say that he's the best Sigma player of all time because he's number 1 on the ranked ladder. That's not how that works. But it shows that he knows how to play Sigma. Moth is an unreal support. They already have built-in team chemistry because they have 3 players from San Francisco Shock. If I had to knock them, Ruckus maybe. I would like to have seen potentially another support player in there. But again, what's Ruckus going to be playing? Moira? I have enough faith that Ruckus can play Moira to the best, like to a high enough level to the point where he can support his team. So I think that this team is stacked. And I just think that they have carry potential to all the right spots. Obviously, South Korea has Choyobin and Huxall.
Dude, Huxall by himself.
Well, yeah, but Choyobin was probably the best. Choyobin was the best Sigma player we've seen, and Huxall is
the best Doomfist we've seen.
No, Sinatra. I would put Sinatra there with him.
No. Huxall, dude, the guy makes just crazy plays. Like, pulls back like 2-person deficits to like win team fights.
Huxall is really, really good. I'm not gonna argue.
Okay. And who put USA as number 5 on the list?
Oh yeah, the game. No. Sorry, I lied. The Game House put him number 3, so that's a little bit more understandable.
Oh, okay.
When I first read it, I just want to bring this Game House article mainly because they have Canada number 7, which I just think is the most disrespectful shit I've ever seen in my entire life. So Game House, get your shit together. I don't know who wrote this, but whoever wrote this article needs to get their shit together because Canada is not number 7. No way in hell that you put France number 5, Canada number 7. I think that's a stretch and a half. I don't think there's any way, shape, or form that you can argue that China's ahead of USA, unless you just simply go, well, US couldn't do it in 2018, 2017, therefore they can't do it this year too. Nah, there's no way. They're for fucking sure the United States have a better roster on paper than China. Even if China somehow upset, like I'm not saying China or Canada can't upset. I think China and Canada are the only two teams that can sort of upset the top tier teams in South Korea, US. Like I think Canada and China have the potential to sort of upset those teams. So if US gets upset, like it happens, that's sports. But on paper, if you have to do a power ranking, you can't put US any lower than 2 unless you're buying way too much into the fact that they're going to choke.
And that's dumb.
Yeah.
Sinatra, like he was not good in season 1.
Yeah, don't say he was not good. He just was not. Around. He was not as good. He was not as good in season 1.
He wasn't like cheat clapper 9,000 like he is right now.
Yeah, no, for sure, yeah.
But like
he wasn't the MVP in season 1. He's gained a lot of experience. Obviously, they no longer have Muma as their main tank. They have Super. Like this team's and Corey legit popped the fuck off in stage 4. People keep going like, oh man, like look at Carpe. Dude, I was more impressed with Corey in stage 4 when he finally got to play hit scan heroes than I was with Carpe in stage 4. And I know he was on a way worse team, and maybe that's just because you're like, oh wow, the Washington Justice are finally doing something. But if Washington Justice, they went 6-1, and they actually had the opportunity to play in the playoffs, who knows how far they would have gone. Now I still think they obviously don't go that far, but I'm just saying, Corey legit looked like an absolute. Who was I most impressed with in terms of DPS players in stage 4? Corey was number 1. Like Corey's Reaper, I think is going to be.
What about
unreal.
what's his name?
Saya player, Saya player's up there too. Yeah, but only because he shit on Toronto Defiant so much. Like obviously, I'm not gonna knock South Korea for not taking Saya player over Carpe. Like I get it. Also, Architect's really fucking good too. Don't get me wrong, South Korea's a really really good team. IDK Bedozin. I will say this. Mono's Orisa did look weak in the Overwatch League finals, semifinals. His bongo placement was pretty poor. Like he would just place a bongo and it would get wrecked. So I do think, and I never thought I'd say this, that there's a potential there where I think that Super can play a better Orisa around his team with better bongo placements. IDK Bedozin's a pretty filthy support line. Obviously, I'd put Bedozin ahead of Ruckus any day of the week. But I think Moss right there. I think, Choyobin Hawksall versus... Oh my God, Space and Sinatra is going to be insane. I think these are definitely the two powerhouses of the teams. I don't know, man. I think I look at their core team. 3 of the 6 players on the field are probably going to be from the Overwatch League champions. They have the Overwatch League MVP, like regular season MVP on their team. And the people who weren't MVPs were Space and Corey, who I think are going to be fucking awesome. And they're absolutely going to be awesome. Now, Ruckus maybe gets a poor rap because he plays for Houston. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays in a team as stacked as this. But I have a lot of faith in US. So I'm going to do my spicy take of the day.
Spicy.
Absolutely.
Muy caliente. Dios mío.
No, okay, I'm editing that out. Absolute spicy take of the day is I think US is going to win this whole thing.
Yeah. I disagree. I just love Hawksall. Like if that man, if he could, if I was at the Overwatch World Cup, I'd get him to sign my chest.
Yeah. No, I mean that's fair.
I'd get Hawksall and Carpe and Art.
Personally, I'd get Super to sign my chest, but that's just me. Or Space.
That's just me.
Good looking guy,
I don't know. Like these guys, I don't know. They're just stacked. South Korea's stacked, and the South Koreans, man, they win at everything.
Yeah, no, I know, but you're not wrong. I don't really have a good, counterpoint to that because for the most part, agree. I think it's a tier system. I think you have tier 1, which is U.S. South Korea. They're the best 2. Tier 2, which is U.S. China Canada. Like you can sort of flip China Canada. We can have a debate about it. You can flip U.S. South Korea, we can have a debate about it. And then you sort of have that next tier, which has like UK, Finland, France. You like maybe some other teams up there that can potentially upset. But like I think that's how the tier system is going to work. So yeah, okay. I don't think any of us had some poor picks. I might have
move on to
Team Canada.
What's your saucy underdog?
Saucy what?
saucy underdog pick. Like,
oh yeah, honorable mention. Yeah, really quickly, we're gonna do an honorable. See, mine's sort of fucking taken because I was gonna say Finland, but you already brought up Finland.
Oopsies.
I do like Finland. I like
first then. I'm going Iceland.
Yeah, no, okay. I'm glad you brought up Iceland.
Those boys know what's up. We got Fincy, Pairs Eternal, Happy Cool on Team Envy, so not bad there. Snorlax, really I just like the name.
I love Snorlax. That's my mixer name.
Who
Snorlax.
did Iceland beat in
Denmark
soccer World Cup?
Oh, UK. Oh yeah, the UK. Yeah. They beat UK.
They beat UK. Icelanders, they have something in them.
Okay, they've got something in them. I can't find
some of that. They got some of that Viking clap in them.
There it is. Oh my god, dude, it took me so long to find Iceland on the screen. Yeah, no, they got the Viking clap. Hey, I actually really like Iceland's team. I think that's a good pick. I like low-key into Sweden because I really like their tank line.
What's their tank line? What's that?
Lulish and Alevut. I can't even remotely pronounce those names. I'm sorry, I just butchered that so badly. But they're the new Washington Justice tank line, although they signed Roar, so maybe not. And I don't think Nevix is playing, which is super unfortunate because he's letting the other guys take over. But if Nevix could have played, that would have been unreal. But they got Snillo in there, who I think is really good too, for Fusion University. So yeah, I think that Sweden, I'm going to mention their name because I really do like Sweden. And Nevix is hopefully going to be Toronto Defiance soon. So there's that. Awesome. So now, do you want to just talk about Canada's roster real quickly because we're running
sauce that up.
Yep. So I guess just to go, like we've already spoke about it. I think our biggest sort of risk factors is XQC and the Orisa, but we talked about why that might not as big as some people are giving it. I don't think that his position, the role that he plays is in the Orisa lends itself to like really being exposed from, not being in the Overwatch League for a long time. Like if this was like GOATs, right? If fucking U.S. and China and South Korea had teams playing GOATs for all 4 stages, and you got to throw XQC in there as a Reinhardt, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But because it's a pretty new meta, Orisa's, a fairly low-risk hero, I think he's going to be fine. Our biggest wild card is Note. Because, again, carry potential, Sigma, Doomfist. I think Agility's Mangachu are solid on Doomfist. Both of them are really, really good Doomfist. Now, they might not be Hawksall and Sinatra, but they're really good. So I think we're solid in that respect. Note is going to be the biggest wild card because, again, he was an absolute assassin on D.Va. Absolute assassin on D.Va. Now, does that transition over to Sigma? I've seen him play Hog during the trials. I wasn't overly impressed. But there's also just during the trials, that's not a really accurate representation of what a player's potential could be. If his Sigma is as good as his D.Va, like we were talking about Space, if he can transition over those two, I think we have a really good team. Like we have really good potential. Like the main reason I put Canada over China is I think Note is a lot better than Elsa. And Surefour can swap over to like any hit scan hero we need if somebody runs a far against us.
Yeah, and I'd also like to say that I think we have that also kind of like X Factor too. Like we have those guys who can play like weird heroes, and that like for example, Mangachu really good on far, really good on May and Torb. Yeah. Those are like the weird heroes that are still kind of meta, and I've heard that a lot of teams have been scrimming Pharah. Yeah, and that's what I mean. So we definitely have like those guys who can play like those nutty characters.
If it's a far Doomfist meta, I think Agility's Mangachu is a really good far Doomfist. I think that's a really good far Doomfist, and I think that's one of the better far. Now, obviously, China would have the best far Doomfist and Jinmu and Eileen, but we're right up there with other teams in terms of our ability to play two projectile DPS heroes. Like I think Agility's Mangachu are really good, and again. I think Note and our backline. I think Crimso's awesome. I really hope he gets signed going into the Overwatch League in Season 3. I think he will. Now he's gonna be playing Moira, so there's not a ton of carry potential. I think a lot of flex supports are gonna be pretty similar in terms of their ability to play Moira. But if there is any skill gap, I mean obviously there's a skill gap, but you know what I'm trying to say. If there's any skill gap in flex supports in the World Cup, I think Crimso's gonna be at the higher end. Banny's good too, and the best part about this team is they've been there. It's the same team in 2018 where we came third place, so we already have built-in team chemistry. We finally had a boot camp at the Bell 5 House, so our team has been scrimming the past week. building up that team chemistry, which should already exist. So I actually think that I think we have a really good chance this year. Now, again, I say it's a tier system. I don't think we are better than the United States or South Korea, but I think we have potential to upset them. Like, if we can somehow get, like, if you look at the group, we're with, China and probably, UK or Finland's going to be that third slot. I think we can win that group, and I think we can go right to the finals and then avoid South Korea and US until the very end. And I see this us having,
I'm thinking like if we're facing China or South Korea, I'm feeling like it's an 80-20. Like, 80% one of them, 20% us.
Yeah, I think if we ran South Korea 10 times, I think we beat them, twice. I could see that. If it was like 10 different, if you could like run a simulation like 100 times, you beat them 20 times. No, I think that exactly. I think that Canada has a really good team this year. The reason I brought up the Gamer House is because they put us at 7. Which I think is absurd. I think it's just ludicrous to have us at 7. Now, we might not be as good because, again, maybe XQC really, feeds on Orisa. Maybe Note Sigma doesn't transition over that well. But to have us all the way at 7, given our history of the World Cup, I think is just ridiculous. So I felt a little chapped, just a little chapped. But yeah, I think my only other concern, surrounding Team Canada is going to be if teams start running like really, really wonky comps. And because, okay, so let me phrase this a little bit better. XQC, I'm afraid he's been known to get like frustrated. Like, it was only the trial, so I don't want to read too much into the trials, but there's definite moments where he was like on Orisa, it wasn't working, and he was like, fuck it, let's go dive. And he just went monkey, and they went dive. So this could like low-key be our biggest asset, but it could kind of fuck us. If we're like getting rolled or we're getting beat by a team, and then XQC is just getting frustrated with Orisa, and he goes, fuck it, let's just go dive, and then it just doesn't work. Now, I'm not saying he will. It's because it's trials. It's totally different, and I'm not saying he will, but I could see if the Orisa Sigma isn't working, XQC defaulting back to a comfort pick, which is Monkey. Now, again, if we run like a Pharah Widow dive somehow, and maybe that and Note goes to Diva, Crimzo plays fucking Honor or something, Bonnie's on the Mercy, that sounds really good in theory. It's just not in the meta right now, which is the issue. So either we catch a team off guard, and that actually works out pretty well for us, or we try the Monkey and it completely fails and we get wrecked, or that doesn't happen at all. XQC just stays in Orisa.
Yeah, that's what I like though, kind of about Canada too. I feel like Canada,
you cut out. Sorry.
Like that team that's like real weird. We have a bunch of weird dudes that are like good, but good at weird characters. And like great people that aren't an owl, and like personalities that are like, Megachu just torp hammers people, and XQC just rages. Yeah, it's like, and then we have like Jane as our head coach. We got
James
like
James GM, Takiti,
our GM. We have a bunch of like, like great personalities, weird people. Like Canada's like, we're there to have fun. We're there to do good. We're there to be weird too. I like it.
Yeah, and like I said, I think this team could go as far as winning it. I really do. If I have to be as objective as possible, I think if you have it any lower than 4, I think you're reaching, or you're really high on another team. Like you're really high on like Team UK biased. At 4. I think it's debatable. France at 4 is definitely debatable in my opinion. I think if it's unfortunate Poco can't play. France could be another underdog. Maybe I'm underrating them. But I think we're going to be.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be okay. I think we're a top 3. With that being said,
when are we going to be back on, Spencer?
Probably the week after, to be honest. What's the
you gonna chat about this?
A lot of off-season stuff to talk about. So I assume the rosters are finalized November 15th, but the way Toronto Defiance going, I think it's going to be finalized before that. So you might have 1 or 2 more videos breaking down the Toronto Defiance off-season moves and what their future roster is going to look like. So that's going to be either next week or the week after. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, awesome. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Sorry about the swear words, kiddos.
Oh my God! Don't worry, we're not a family friendly show. We've never been a family friendly show, and I don't see that necessarily changing anytime soon. So we'll see. But yeah, as always, guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Stay toxic.
Like, subscribe. Comment. Just show us that you're enjoying the content, and thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
DM me. I need some friends.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter. Chris has like 10 followers.
Send me some messages, please.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Bye, guys.